Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, over the past 2 decades, our society has witnessed unprecedented changes in the overwhelming trend of globalization. From the traditional Spring Festival to the Western White Christmas, from the original cash settlement to the popular credit payment, from the family-centered cultures to the more independent living styles, the introduction of Western ideology is having an increasing impact on the traditional Chinese values. From my point of view, globalization is both a challenge and an opportunity. Now we are living in a so-called globalized era, and along with this era come a few discouraging words. What comes to my mind are egoism, irresponsibility, and deceit. Many traditional virtues are being challenged. Often do I hear many senior citizens who have witnessed the weakening of traditional Chinese values complain that children are more exposed to violence by Western films and youngsters are fond of devoting time and energy to Valentine's Day. I think the remark is true to some extent, but the positive effects of globalization cannot be neglected. Nowadays, people, especially the young, are becoming more inclined to use credit cards to make up for the inconvenience of cash settlement. While we are enjoying the time shopping anywhere around with this magic invention in hand, it should be noted that using credit card is a habit that comes along with globalization. There is a sharp comparison illustrating the contrary conception of an old lady from China and another from USA. Before their death, the Chinese old lady smiled and said, "I have eventually collected enough money to buy my own apartment." While the American lady said with relief, "Finally have I paid off the loan for my house." The contrast is thought-provoking. At least it provides us with a rough idea how Chinese and Westerners differ in values in the simplest case. There are many more aspects in which Westerners and we hold distinctive judgments. For instance, different family ties, different attitude toward love and marriage, and different educational conceptions. Credit consumption is just one of them that reflects the many discrepancies, but it offers great opportunities to improve the Chinese way of payment. Come to think of it, globalization benefits us in far wider ranges. Influenced by the Western sense of independence, many university students no longer rely heavily on parents. Instead, they are making their own livings and are doing more creative work. For another, globalization ensures the entrance of Chinese ideology into foreign countries. As far as I know, the traditional family togetherness of China is changing the West, their original values. As I emphasized at the beginning of my speech, globalization is not only a challenge, but also an opportunity. It is an opportunity to make improvements on all parts. It is an opportunity to keep pace with the developed countries. And it is an opportunity to present the whole world the merits of our culture. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems meaningless here to discuss whether Chinese value is better or Western's is better. What is important is the selection process. Lu Xun wrote an article dealing with the incoming of foreign culture and ideology, and he pointed out that we should absorb the essence and desert the dregs. I really appreciate this brief summary of the criterion of selection, and as I would like to put it, critical assimilation. Imagine if the essence of different cultures and values are collected and combined with that of our own. We can not only possess the brilliant traditional culture that has instructed and inspired hundreds of generations of our own country, but own the quintessence of other cultures, some having been cultivated over a long course of history. As for us university students of the 21st century, we are witnesses of the drastic innovation the society has been undergoing. We have the responsibility because the current situation can bring about rapid development to the culture of our society if dealt with approximately. Keep in mind that globalization is both a challenge and an opportunity to traditional Chinese values. Therefore, critical assimilation will help us in time to gradually turn our culture into a more civilized one. Thank you. Thank you for attention.
All right, contestant number 16. In recent years, as a response to growth in certain new fields, some courses of study focusing on specific new skills are emerging and gaining popularity in many universities around the world. These subjects include things like sports, marketing, computer games programming, gambling research, and so on. Would you rather choose such a major with a view to a specific occupation likely to become prosperous, or would you prefer to learn a fundamental subject which may not be associated with a certain promising career?
Thank you very much for your topic. Well, my answer to this topic is I would like to choose a fundamental subject. You know, I'm a freshman, and I remember so clearly that this time last year, I was thinking about what major I should apply for, because I was preparing for the college entrance examination. And, you know, since I was a straight A student in senior high school, and actually I've got an extra bonus from many prestigious universities, I've got a lot of choices to make. I was thinking about whether I should apply for some so-called promising majors such as electronic engineering or biology or business administrations, or some not so promising majors such as physics or mechanics. So actually, I asked my teachers and friends for help. They asked me, "What are you going to be when you grow up?" And I was totally confused. You know, sometimes I think I'm going to be an actress, sometimes I'm thinking about being a journalist or a businesswoman or say athlete or some other jobs. I was not quite sure. So I told them that I don't know. And they suggested me that since you don't have a specific goal, you should choose a fundamental subject, because choosing a fundamental subject means that you have got a lot of choices to make in the future, and you can make full use of the university time to think about what subjects, what jobs that really is suitable for you. And now I'm a major in precision instrument and mechanics. I think that in the process of studying in university for only a year, I think I've already found the balance between my major, that is precision instrument and mechanics, and my specialty, English. I think I want to be a simultaneous interpreter in science and technology when I grow up. Perhaps you ask me, why for me, as a student major in technology, how can you become a simultaneous interpreter? Well, my answer is, since you know there are so many students who are major in English, they are totally confused about what the terminologies in science and technology. I think I have a better understanding of those terminologies in science and technology. That's why I think I will be very qualified for a simultaneous interpreter in science and technology. And I think I've benefited a lot because I chose a fundamental subject last year, because I think I can make for yourself the time to think about what jobs that really suits me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your speech.
Thank you.
You're very lucky because you have a lot of choices. You're a straight A student, right? But do you agree that education is to ensure that those who have the privilege and opportunities to go to university be given the fundamental in critical thinking and analysis in the more generally accepted disciplines?
Excuse me, could you specify your question?
Okay, my question is, do you agree that education in general is to ensure that those who have the opportunity to go to university be given the fundamentals of critical thinking and analysis in a more generally accepted disciplines?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. Well, I think that the function of the university is to cultivate students to do more creative thinking, and I think that's just the very reason. And take my university for example. My university teachers always encourage us to understand the concept because I'm a student major in science and technology. Basically, we deal with some hypothesis or principles or some law of Newton maybe, and the teacher told us that the theories in the textbook is correct at present, but it doesn't mean that it will be correct in the future, and that's why we should question these theories. I think that is the most important thing. I think that's why the function of the university is to cultivate students to do more creative thinking. Thank you.
Thank you.